On World News Tonight this Thursday, the United States gives $70 million for disaster relief in Central America. After what Hurricane Mitch has done, it's a drop in the bucket. A stunning breakthrough in the laboratory, but what will society say about actually reproducing human organs? And the lightning speed of money on the move all over the world. We'll take a closer look at the havoc that can cause.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Our first two major stories tonight are about priorities, and we begin in Washington, where Republican politicians now understand all too clearly how strongly much of the public feels about impeachment hearings involving President Clinton. So our first report is from ABC's Linda Douglas.
Members of the House Judiciary Committee are gritting their teeth at the thought of beginning the unpopular task of impeachment hearings.
This is a constitutional challenge. I wouldn't say I'm fed up with it. I would say I'd like to have it behind me, but I think we have a duty to proceed, and we're going to.
Chairman Hyde promised to move fast, calling just one major witness, independent counsel Kenneth Starr.
He is anxious to testify. He is the center of this inquiry in terms of directing the Office of Independent Counsel.
Hyde challenged the president to keep the process short. So, in a letter obtained by ABC News, Hyde asked Mr. Clinton to answer 81 questions raised by the Starr report. They do not focus on sex, but on things like whether Mr. Clinton tried to keep Monica Lewinsky quiet by buying her gifts. Example, do you admit or deny that you gave the following gifts to Monica Lewinsky? Hyde hinted that the president's failure to answer such questions could itself be an impeachable offense. But after Tuesday's election, Mr. Clinton doesn't seem worried about any of it.
The American people sent us a message that would break the eardrums of anyone who was listening. They want their business tended to.
Many congressional Republicans think they are under more pressure from a public fed up with impeachment because GOP leaders have failed to focus attention on anything else. Some members blame Newt Gingrich for that and want him to pay by forfeiting his job as Speaker. Linda Douglas, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
The other priority tonight is Central America. It is much clearer to individual Americans today and the Clinton administration what a blow Tropical Storm Mitch has been to Honduras and Nicaragua, and to a lesser extent El Salvador and Guatemala. Today the U.S. pledged almost $70 million in assistance, but it's going to take vastly more. First, from the region, ABC's Ron Claiborne.
This storm has been an economic catastrophe that will be felt for years. In Honduras, the destruction extends across the entire country. Every major crop in this agricultural nation has been devastated. Fields of melons submerged, sugarcane crops washed away, bananas wiped out. In hundreds of towns like Moralica, there is now no way to make a living.
The main source of income for this town of just over 2,000 people used to be raising cattle and growing corn. All of the cattle got swept away in the floodwaters, and this is what's left of the cornfields.
In all of Honduras, hundreds of thousands of people, maybe more, will be out of work for months, even years. This farmer says everybody worked in the cornfields. It's where we all made a living. Now everything's lost. There is another long-term problem. There's virtually no way to distribute food, medicine, anything. Bridges are down all over the country. Almost every road has been severed by mudslides or flooding. The region's commerce has been shut down.
We're not talking highways, we're just talking ways of being able to get trucks, large trucks, from one to another point.
Even in the capital, Tegucigalpa, where there is a functioning airport, the deprivation is already being felt. Gasoline and drinking water are running out despite rationing. Food is scarce. International relief will help, but Honduran officials say their country has already been set back 50 years by what happened, and it will take billions of dollars to bring it back. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Tegucigalpa, Honduras.
In Washington today, the head of the Agency for International Development called this the worst disaster ever seen in the hemisphere. And as we said, Americans already sense that, and in many cases have begun to help on their own. Here's ABC's Brian Rooney.
Ordinary Americans responded to the disaster in Central America, even as troops began assessing the damage. In Los Angeles, volunteers are busily collecting food, water, and medicine to ship to Central America. They have already gathered truckloads of goods.
There's a lot of people dead already, but the people that survive, they're going to die because the help is not there at this time.
The same is happening all over the country. This is suburban Washington. And from Houston, a plane load of supplies has already been delivered to Honduras.
Our needs are enormous. We have a population of a little over 6 million people. At this moment, over 1 million people are homeless.
Piecemeal volunteer aid is not enough to prevent the disaster from getting worse. Much of the focus of President Clinton's order today is to overcome transportation problems and begin rebuilding.
We will be making enough movements of 2 747s into the region to provide 2,800 metric tons of food.
Over the longer term, the U.S. military will be involved in rebuilding roads, bridges, schools, and helping to get these countries running on their own. The U.S. has both a humanitarian and political motivation to do so.
The most immediate result is going to be more pressure for migration into the United States, because that's the only hope people have if they can't make a living in their own countries.
But for now, the damage is too severe for anyone to leave. America is now involved in a relief effort that may need to continue for years. Brian Rooney, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Moreover, Mitch is still going. It whipped through South Florida today, up to 8 inches of rain in a few hours. Several tornadoes touched down. Mitch finally appears to be breaking up over the Atlantic. Other news when we come back. A scientific breakthrough of enormous proportion, making the cells that can make anything in the body, and technology on the cutting edge, helping the blind to see.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Cigna.
She's worked almost 40 years. And during that time, they've gone on walks together instead of cruises, and shared secrets together instead of champagne, just so that someday they could retire and be together all the time. At Cigna, we care about the retirement dreams of over 5 million people. After all, there are dreams too. Cigna, a business of caring.
It's coming. And this time there's something new. Now there's a wind tunnel by Hoover that's self-propelled, so it almost works by itself. Tests show wind tunnel picks up more dirt than any other clean air upright. Hoover, nobody. And now you can get one that's self-propelled. Self-propelled wind tunnel.
Enterprise rent a car for my trip? Looks expensive.
It's not expensive, Mom.
They pick us up? Sounds expensive.
Pickup's free, Mom.
Well, if it's not expensive, why didn't I get a convertible?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
There is remarkable scientific news to report this evening, and some people are going to find it frightening. Scientists have succeeded in growing stem cells in the laboratory. ABC's James Walker will explain it. Many people have said it's like finding the holy grail of biology, and there are tremendous implications.
What you are looking at are the most basic kind of human cells, the stem cells of an embryo. They have the extraordinary capability to become any kind of cell, brain, blood, or bone, anything. Now, for the first time, researchers are successfully growing these cells in the lab.
We can now do in a dish what normally occurs in an embryo.
Beyond that, scientists in Wisconsin and Maryland are beginning to learn how to turn the cells on to make just the kind of human tissue they want.
Such as heart muscle cells that could then be used to graft into a heart that has a defect in heart muscle, either through disease or injury. And that graft would be successful and the heart would recover.
That's only the beginning. The ultimate potential for this breakthrough would be to grow any kind of human organ.
What it does is allow us to be able to guarantee people when they need a transplant to be able to do that, because the supply could be limitless in terms of the organs available.
Closer to reality, within the next 5 years, researchers expect to supply limitless amounts of laboratory-grown human tissue for testing new drugs. But there is a controversy. The cells come from human embryos, either from fertilized eggs from fertility clinics or from abortions. Congress has barred federal funding for research involving human embryos on the grounds that embryos are already human beings. That puts the dream of creating things like new spinal cords for paraplegics even farther away.
I think it is just unacceptable to say, because we have moral reservations about taking cells from embryos, you have to remain paralyzed, you have to remain immobile.
Scientists say the potential benefits from reproducing embryo stem cells are stunning. The question is, how far will society allow them to go? James Walker, ABC News, New York.
Our medical editor, Tim Johnson, is with us tonight. Tim, astonishing, we agreed earlier. How big a challenge to take the next step?
It's a huge challenge. Finding the cells and growing them is, as James says, stunning. I think the next step, controlling the differentiation of these cells into specific types of cells, will be much more difficult. And the ultimate goal of growing entire organs that can be transplanted, I would guess, must be decades away.
Now, we both know there's going to be a huge ethical debate. Will doctors automatically come down on the side of proceeding?
Not automatically, but the vast majority of them, I think, will support it because these tissues otherwise could not be utilized. Why not use them to alleviate real human suffering that exists right now?
Okay, thanks very much. Tim Johnson, who's in Boston tonight. When we come back, on the money, paying more for going into debt.
We know they're out there. Individuals who ask more from a truck than 99% of the world. To us, they are the 1%ers. With their demanding standards in mind, we introduced the all-new GMC Sierra. With our most powerful Vortec V8s ever, and the first available automatic four-wheel drive on a pickup. 1%ers, step forward. The all-new Sierra from GMC.
Some people call it retirement planning. I think of this as future construction. Year by year, block by block, until...
It's our dream house.
Beautiful. But I was hoping we could afford to travel. This plan can help make it happen. We can even make sure you've got worry-free income for life.
AXA, dynamic vision, Equitable, a trusted resource. Call us. Equitable is a member of the global AXA Group.
When they said the world didn't need another nose strip, we said, how about making one that's contoured for a good fit, giving it a centering bump for placement, and using a skin-friendly adhesive? Introducing Clear Passage, ergonomically advanced to relieve the symptoms of nasal congestion. Oh, and how about having it made by the maker of Afrin Nasal Spray, the people who know more about the nose than anyone. New Clear Passage.
Look for our special money-saving coupon in this Sunday's newspaper.
Winter, the worst season for skin. Cold air, dry heat all contribute to make your skin drier than any other time of year. There is a way to fight winter dryness. Oil of Olay. Every moisturizing product we make, from our body wash to our daily UV protectant, combats winter dryness, leaves your skin soft and smooth. Why spend another winter with dry skin when there's Oil of Olay? Proven to turn winter into wonderful.
On the money tonight, going even deeper into debt if you do not pay your credit card bills on time. There are almost no restrictions on how much banks can charge when you make a late payment on your card. The latest installment in all this from ABC's Lisa Stark in Washington.
This is a story of a dramatic increase in penalties for the millions of Americans who do not make credit card payments on time. One consumer group surveyed 74 banks that issue 117 credit cards. It found make one late payment and your interest rate can jump substantially and sometimes stay there for months. The higher rates range from 16% to nearly 25%. For more than half the banks, late fees rose more than 70% in 3 years, from an average of $13 in 1995 to nearly $22 today. If you exceed your credit limit, they'll charge you a fee of $20 or more. 3 years ago, only one bank charged that much. What's more, according to consumer groups, banks are making it easier for consumers to get into trouble by shortening the time in which a payment is due. A spokesman for the banking industry defended their fees.
There's got to be penalties for people that are going to abuse the system. And the good creditworthy risk shouldn't be paying for those who are not managing their credit well.
One thing both consumer and banking groups agree on, customers must be more savvy. If your credit card terms aren't good for you, shop around for a better deal. Lisa Stark, ABC News, Washington.
Still on the money tonight, the unemployment rate held steady at 4.6% last month, but job growth has slowed down. Another step forward in bringing down long-distance rates. Sprint is the first big company to offer long-distance calls for a flat fee, $25 a month for an unlimited number of calls on the weekends. On Wall Street today, stocks were up after the Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan reassured investors that credit wasn't in danger of drying up. The Dow Jones Industrials were up more than 132 points to close at 89.15. On the NASDAQ market, stocks were up 13.5 points. Mr. Greenspan also focused today on the danger of traders who move billions and billions of dollars around the world at the push of a button. A closer look when we come back.
Hey, I got a letter back from Quaker. I wrote and told them that Quaker toasted oatmeal ought to be called Quaker Tasty Oatmeal.
It's oatmeal, it's toasted. To me, that says tasty.
Well, then they should call it that.
You need a hobby.
Quaker Toasted Oatmeal. It's your other oatmeal.
Carol Johnson believes the mammogram reminder card we sent her saved her life. Carlin Skipworth believes her early colon cancer screening saved her life. If it's hard for you to believe that our long-standing commitment to preventive care and early detection actually makes a difference, we have proof. Living proof. We're Aetna U.S. Healthcare, raising the quality of healthcare in America.
Bacon! Bacon! Where's the bacon? I smell bacon! 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 Gotta be bacon! Only one thing smells like bacon! That's bacon! Bacon, 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 bacon! There! From that bag! What's it say? I can't read! Please, please, give me what's in the bag! Chewy, yummy, smoky bacon!
There you go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! No, 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 no! It's bacon!
No, it's Bacon Strips, brand dog snack from Purina. Bacon Strips. Dogs don't know it's not bacon.
It's bacon!
To see a bit of what makes Dodge Intrepid fast, let's cut to the quick. It has a sparkling 200 horsepower gem of an aluminum engine, grippy independent suspension, crisp steering, and a highly functional driving space. Intrepid demonstrates a lot of powerful thinking, no matter how you slice it. Well equipped, $20,495.
Every day, people all over America dial 10-10-321 to save money. And they save a lot. 50% on all their calls over 20 minutes. All day, every day. And from now until November 12th, dialing 10-10-321 not only can save you 50%, every call will also automatically enter you for a chance to win the $10,000 daily prize. 10-10-321. 50% savings every day. And every day, a $10,000 winner.
Take a closer look tonight at fast money, by which we mean money on the move. The Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan was citing factors today that have helped spread the financial upheaval of the last year from one country to another. The crisis, he said, reflects the inability of people to come to grips with the vastly accelerated pace of financial activity. Mr. Greenspan means the incredible speed at which money travels all over the globe. In the twinkling of an eye, the international currency traders can have a devastating effect on a nation's economy. And here to explain it tonight is ABC's Robert Krulwich.
Yes, they are wild and a little, raucous. But free markets mean investors anywhere in the world can put their money anywhere they please
so 15 for a couple of thousand,
and take their money out anytime they choose. That's a free market. It makes some people rich and some, well, for millions of Asians, says the Prime Minister of Malaysia, free markets have proved painful. Too painful.
People can no longer stay with the so-called free market system.
The problem is free markets have changed in the last 30 years. They've gotten freer.
Years ago, most people, even the rich, kept their savings in their home countries. They invested their money locally.
But then several things happened. In the 1970s, when Arabs made a fortune in oil, they ran out of things to invest in at home. And so bit by bit, they created a pool of money and said, well, let's look around and see if there's someplace else we can invest.
Then, in the 1980s, many countries deregulated and got rid of all the paperwork and all the rules and all the things that make it so hard to invest money abroad.
So now rich people everywhere could take some of their savings and send it abroad to join the other money, looking around for places to invest.
I'll take a quarter there at 40.
Meanwhile, computers arrived, so it was much easier to move money from place to place and more speedily.
I try to get 100 done at 5.
Which attracted even more money into this international pool of capital. And then came the success of mutual funds. So now perfectly ordinary people, maybe you watching, you're part of an investment club, or workers, anybody could put a few bucks into a global fund or an international fund, and all that money was added to the pool of cash wandering the globe. Then, in the 1990s, a hunk of this money discovered Asia.
Your profit center.
Indonesia.
Korea.
And almost in unison, investors said, this is the place. For example, international investors put $27 billion in South Korea in 94, another $33 billion in 95, another $37 billion in 96, and then just as suddenly the money left. $29 billion gone in 1 year. Imagine what it would be like to be living in Asia somewhere when all of a sudden, up from the horizon, a tidal wave of money pours in from all over the world, and for one moment you're rich, and then, just as suddenly, the money goes away. And there you are thinking, what happened? In Asia, what happened is investors got nervous. A bank panic here, a surprise failure there. Everybody who wanted into Asia now wanted out. South Korea's economy, which was up 20% in 1995, will sink 35% this year. Investors, of course, are free to pull their money out. That's what freedom means. But after Korea and Indonesia and Russia and now Brazil watching investments yanked from their countries, wouldn't it be nicer if markets could operate, says President Clinton,
while avoiding the cycle of boom and bust that diminishes hope and destroys wealth?
Yeah, that would be nice, but you see the problem. President Clinton wants this big pile of money to move freely around the world, but he also wants it to move slowly and calmly. Nations and economists are talking now about putting controls on the movement of this money. So the president says, yes, money should be free, but even he is wondering, how much freedom can we afford? Robert Krulwich, ABC News.
As we said, change in the twinkling of an eye. When we come back, technology on the cutting edge, the Silicon Eye.
What do I want? I want to know I'm headed in the right direction. I want to keep my options open. I do want to take care of my family. I want to give something back. I want to learn, find what's right for me, be ready for anything, make the right choices. I want to find the people who can get me there.
American Express Financial Advisors can help you decide what you want to do and how to get there.
I want to say I made a difference. I want to do more.
It's a faucet.
It's a filter.
It's a faucet.
It's a filter.
Introducing the faucet with the water filter built right in. Faucet by Price Pfister. Filter by Teledyne Waterpick. It reduces chlorine and odor, so all that's left is great taste for a fraction of the cost of bottled water.
It's a faucet.
It's a filter.
It's both. The filter faucet from Price Pfister.
How's Max doing? He's doing okay. So how long before Max can play again?
Well, the vet said Max will be back to his old self in a couple of days.
Even the interior of the Chevy Blazer was designed to make you feel at ease. A little security in an insecure world. Chevy Blazer, like a rock.
ABCNews.com, the first place for news online. Get your news first from ABCNews.com, on the web and America Online.
Just before our final item about technology on the cutting edge, some leftover election news in case you missed it. Those ballot propositions on Tuesday. Let's call it citizen action on the cutting edge. In California, voters were in favor of an extra 50 cents a pack on cigarettes, the money to go to child development programs. In California, voters also said yes to gambling run by Indian tribes on tribal land. Voters in 6 states approved the medical use of marijuana. The right to assisted suicide was defeated in Dr. Jack Kevorkian's home state of Michigan. In Colorado and Washington, voters told the government not to interfere in even late-term abortions. In Hawaii and Alaska, voters encouraged state legislatures to make same-sex marriages illegal. Animal rights were on the ballot in several places. In Arizona and Missouri, voters supported a ban on cockfighting, and Missourians also said no to bear wrestling, just in case you missed it. So, finally, technology. The most common cause of blindness is a deteriorating retina, a problem with the light receptors in the back of the eye. 10 million Americans have impaired vision because of it. And now, for the first time, thanks to a computer chip, scientists may be able to replace the retina. Here's ABC's Jack Smith.
When you think of computer chips, you think of computers. But what about chips in human beings? Incredible as it may seem, it is about to happen. Scientists are trying to put chip technology into the human eye to create a sort of bionic eye. It's the first time humans and machines have been merged in this way. The leading edge of a breakthrough that soon may actually cure blindness.
We could restore vision by creating an electrical induced prosthesis to place into the eye.
Using computer chip manufacturing techniques, scientists are etching thousands of microscopic solar cells onto a tiny silicon chip, artificial sensors in place of the natural ones in the damaged retinas of blind people.
These are the little solar cells.
Right.
And there are how many of these in each chip?
There are approximately 4,000 to 5,000.
When the chip is implanted in the back of the eye and light strikes those tiny solar cells, they turn it into electrical signals that travel through the optic nerve to the brain and are interpreted as an image.
With this process, the brain, when it receives a signal, it should not be able to tell the difference, whether it came from a natural, healthy retina or from our implant.
Doctors think blind people might see something like this with the implant, and it will improve as they're able to cram more microscopic solar cells onto each chip. They've already succeeded in testing it in animals. The trials with humans in 2 years will determine if it works in blind people. Researchers think it will.
And they will actually be able to see again.
That's what we're hoping.
A potentially unprecedented breakthrough combining the latest in medicine and computer technology that may soon treat and even cure one of mankind's oldest scourges, blindness. Jack Smith, ABC News, Stanford, California.
That is our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget Nightline later. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good evening, and that we'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Tomorrow, high fashion. Who pays those outrageous prices anyway? Has Wall Street had enough? Have you? Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.
You don't know what you're missing.
Tom Cruise. Mission Impossible. Tonight. It must be November on ABC.
Saturday, it's a doubleheader as Penn State meets Michigan. Then Michigan State faces #1 Ohio State. Plus other regional action. It's all on ABC.
Now, News 2 at 6. First, fast, accurate.